So
send me his if you send me his email, I'll invite him to the session.
oh, great. I don't actually know his email because he was on Slack. Are you on the Exoplanet Watch Slack?
I am on the Exoplanet Watch Slack.
Yeah. So if you could DM him, or I could DM both of you and make an
Yeah.
introduction.
If you
Okay,
would
I'll
do
do that.
that, that'd be great.
I'll do that right now.
Thank you.
Yeah, I sent his email in chat alternately.
Oh,
Oh,
perfect.
and there's an email. Do you want me to introduce you on Slack, or do you want
Yeah,
to?
that'd be great. So he's not
Okay,
like, who
will
is
do.
this
Yeah.
random
Who is this
person?
person? Yeah, okay, I'll do that
Right.
right now.
What institution is he associated with?
No idea. But I did meet him once because I was talking to him about the Exoplanet Watch stuff, and he seemed super nice and very excited about plugins for Nina. And that's the extent of my knowledge, but I'll introduce him to Sophia and Leon over the Exoplanet Watch Slack. And then
Well, we know each other already. We've
you
talked
already
about.
know. Okay,
Yeah, I was
so
testing his plugin for him. Yeah.
okay, yeah, so I'll just introduce him to Sophia then.
So in terms of a time, we need to have Leon involved. And so what times work for you, Leon?
Any time around now is best. We did have 2 meetings now, early in the morning for me, which is late at night in California, but that doesn't really work because I need to always shift my sleep schedule by 3 hours in the middle of the week, which just kills everything. So
Okay,
this
so
is fine.
how about 10 a.m. California time? And what day of the week? Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday? What works?
A Friday would be good, or
Friday's generally good for me. Tomorrow I have something, but Friday onward.
Okay,
at
how
this time
about
is good.
Friday at 10 o'clock Pacific, the 17th? So that's
Perfect.
a week from tomorrow. And we'll just kick off the research experience with a Zoom meeting.
Awesome.
Makes perfect sense, actually. Is there a fee for a student joining this?
There he is. We can make exceptions, but we've got the scholarship money from Northrop. And if the student is female or minority, we'll just slap the $400 scholarship on it. If it's not that and they're making a special contribution or have a high recommendation from UPAT or something of the sort, we can just kind of throw them on as kind of staff or something of the sort.
Okay, but if it's not, okay, like I said, I think Nate is almost
Oh,
required.
he's staff.
Yeah. But it says $400 for the 3 weeks, or is that for the one for the second starting in February?
Primarily the one in February, but
Okay.
if we have a few students, for instance, Alex from Evergreen, he's going to join, and he can get a $400 scholarship.
So I should say it won't be much of a research experience. It's just application development. It's not going to be much astronomy, just making software work with each other.
Yeah, that'll be most of it. But I think part of what we can do, because we have a bit of time, if we get this stuff working on Nina and SharpCap, we'll make a few observations towards the end of it. And if we can do that, even if we don't have the paper written up before January 17th, we can gather the observations for it.
Leon, when you've operated it with Nina and SharpCap, did you actually do speckle, or what do you?
Yeah, speckle, but they
Okay,
didn't
so
talk with each other.
you could actually do some observations. It just wasn't automated from Nina. Is that it? Yeah. Okay.
Right, Leon, you used Nina for the mount control and getting the target, and then independently you use SharpCap as to control a camera, right?
Well, Nina for the everything control. Everything was
Yeah.
controlled by Nina up until the very last second where the camera was given to sharp cap, so also filter wheel and focus.
Yeah.
and- cool.
Got it.
Okay,
Yeah, and we did Nina with sharp cap on Firo. We did, a few dozen stars, a dozen or so stars.
okay,
Kayla did it, and so it's very doable. And they actually did it as rapidly as they got down so good at it. They did so much of it that it was just as fast as Dan's CWO cam.
nice.
And I guess I have to ask, when you did it, did you use Nina to plate solve and refine the pointing, or
Yes,
you did? And it was with a fairly small field of view.
well, we did not, as I recall, we didn't. Now I can send the paper around. Let me just take that on. I'll send the paper. So I don't think we had a Barlow on it, and it was an 11-inch f10, 2700 centimeter focal length. So it had a decent field of view.
Okay.
Well, I'm trying to understand, once you pick up, you move to sharp cap for control. At that point, Leon, are you doing what, the exposure time and the ROI? Is that what you're doing manually, or what is left to be done that's once you finish the Nina part of the process? Oh, he may have disappeared. Anybody know?
Yeah, sorry, I
Oh, there
needed
you
some water. I heard the
okay.
last part, but
Okay, I was asking, just since I haven't seen it operate, Nina takes control of everything you say until the last bit, of which you do directly with sharp cap. Does that mean it's ROI and exposure? Is that what you're doing? Using
yeah,
sharp cap?
just that. And
Just
to minimize the ROI trouble, what we're doing is plate solving directly to the center, the target. So you
Okay.
don't have to ever move the ROI depending
Okay,
on star
okay.
position.
Okay. Fair enough.
And are you using ASTAP for the plate solving, Leon?
Well, both. Here in Germany, I use ASTAP, and in Chile, we use PlateSoft 2 because that was installed.
Okay.
And okay, does that work? The plate solve 2 work in Chile for?
Yeah, for the 24-inch. Well, as Dave already said, it's debatable whether it'll work for the 1 meter. I'm not sure.
Yeah.
Well,
But
but you're using
ASTAP has.
that QHY with a huge field of view, you can plate solve easily for that. What do you use in Germany? What's your field of view on your system in Germany?
About, I think it's 30 by 20 or 40 by 20. So not that big.
Okay. We may just run into a real problem with Barrow, because unless we want to take the Barlow off, in which case it's not going to be as capable. Because this is 6x8. I don't know if we'll be able to plate solve in that or not. According to Dave's comment, with PS3 with Gaia, it sounds like you'd have a high reliability of being able to plate solve. And I think your ASTAP uses it has a 18th magnitude Gaia database. Is that right?
And so,
Yep, that's right.
so we.
Yeah, okay, that probably should work then.
Red cabbage, green cabbage, broccoli.
You've got to expose long enough to get to 18 magnet
uh,
with good SNR. So
Okay, well, because we have a 48, maybe 49 arc minute field of view in Barrow. So if we can use the high-end ASTAP with the larger database, maybe it'll work.
yeah, you probably get there most of the time. Yeah.
Okay.
I'm not sure if it's the 18th mag database which makes it possible, because I spoke with Han, the creator of ASTAP, on several occasions, because I also had an extreme case with my SCT back then. It was a microscopic field of view, like SCT 2 meters, Barlow, and a planetary camera. So tiny sensor. And there were like 1 or 2 stars in there, both around 13th mag. And using ASTAP, I had to go outside of Nina into the ASTAP settings to then specify this is really tiny field of view mode, because 18th mag only really matters if there are 18th mag stars, which you won't get many of anyways.
Yeah.
How long was your exposure?
40 seconds.
Uh-huh.
In my experience with the 22 inch, it's about 11,000 millimeter focal length with a 2.5 Barlow on it. It's around f20. And with my ZWO 6200 camera, the field of view is about 11 minutes by 7 minutes.
Okay.
So it's comparable to Barrow.
Uh-huh.
And it always solves in PS, Plate Solve 3. It always solves if I give it approximate coordinates and the field size up front. It zips right in there. If it has to search the whole sky, it's usually doesn't work. But if I give it, to the nearest couple of degrees of field, the pointing direction and approximate, 11 by 7, not the detailed numbers, but approximate field size, it snaps right in.
And that's using PS3 with which database?
I think it's the Gaia database.
Okay.
It's 3.78 if that's got the Gaia database in it.
Okay.
Yeah, so,
And it works down to, in 5 seconds, there's 17th, 18th magnitude stars.
right.
It's amazing.
Mhm.
Okay. I'm still a little, this is into the procedural aspect. If you can do that with Plate Solve 3.78, but Nina can't address Plate Solve 3.78. We don't have the hooks there for that. Is that right? That's where our hang up is. Because Nina is going to drive the mount using PWI4.
Yeah, but
That's totally independent of the Plate Solve. The Plate Solve is just to give Nina the pointing directions to PWI4.
maybe it works. I don't know. Dave should be able to answer that. If 3.78 is backwards compatible with Web 2, if you run it identically.
I have no idea. I don't remember what's in 2.
Okay.
So
What
just
the
test it out.
what the interface is. Anybody can write, can you guys write plugins for Nina? Because we could write an interface. If you know how to write a plugin, I don't know how to do it, but if we could write a plugin, I can modify Plate Solve 3 to have the right interface,
bet
assuming it's a
Ca-
common interface.
Clay's friend can certainly do that.
But look, I don't know if we're focusing maybe on the wrong problem. Plate solving there should be, if Nina has the appropriate plate solving, we don't really care. The problem seems to be that we can't talk to the speckle camera, right? We can't talk to sharp cap.
And that's what we have to work on. So the solution to that, I don't really think we need a plugin. What we can do is, at least in the short term, launch a script with Nina, which interfaces with SharpCap scripting. And that uses a really old Iron Python version. So that's really the one link in the chain which is missing. And then once that is finished, we can work on semi-automating the reduction.
Yeah, and we'll definitely do that. So Pat, you have a situation where you have a very small field of view with the camera you're using, right?
Right. Mhm.
And Plate Solve 3 will probably 3.78 with Gaia would probably get the job done. I mean, we could test that hypothesis by you could take some random images around the sky and we could
Yeah.
And as long as the FITS header contains the starting the estimated starting coordinates, it should work. I
Okay.
don't know what there's always a problem with FITS headers these days. It's getting to be very annoying. I've dropped out of it because there's lots of people doing various things, and I don't want to try to get involved in that at all.
Yeah.
I've only used,
It strikes me that we need to get SharpCap operating reliably and understood on Barrow, and then do as you're saying, install 3.78 on Barrow and see if it plate solves, or use the ASTAP with the Gaia, either one, whichever. It sounds to me like the Gaia with ASTAP would be the way to go for right now.
Yeah, it's already working. So
already
try
working.
that with,
Yeah.
do you know how to run Nina, Pat?
No, never touched it. No, but
Yeah, so, you know, you and Leon and Sophia or whatever should get together and, Nina is very, really simple to use in its bare bones sense. When it can get more complicated if you want to program a lot of checks and, branches and so forth. So but it's really simple to do a simple observation with Nina.
well, I think I would like, rather than take up everybody's time, I think maybe see what works for Leon, and maybe Scott and I, and maybe Nate can, and maybe Sophia, if you want to join in, try to work on Barrow and try to get things installed so we can get it before that meeting next week. So we're not just guessing at stuff. We'll have a better idea as to what the problems need to be addressed. Do you have any time, Leon, before that meeting next
Friday the 17th.
this Friday the 17th?
Yeah, we said the 17th.
And this weekend would work if you have good weather.
Yeah,
Oh,
this
you want-
weekend
so
works
you
for me
want-
too.
Well,
Works for you too? Okay.
we can probably do a lot even with the bad weather.
Yeah, I mean, it's not even installed, so we got all that to go through. So I've got the thing booked up on Sunday night until pretty late. But Saturday Saturday night might work. I have to check with the wife on that. I can send out what time would work for you, Leon, since you got the big time difference.
Now or later would work very well.
Oh, you're saying daytime?
Oh no, when is night for you? Oh right,
Oh,
yeah.
we're in the morning right now.
So it would have to be earlier, right? So what do you prefer, staying up late or waking up early?
I prefer staying up late. But that's.
Why don't we try a session? I mean, for the first session, you don't really need night.
I don't think so. I think we should try.
We could do it at this time on Saturday.
Yeah, I'd be fine. Let's do that. Let's just meet during the day and go through the details, and then maybe that we can make some assignments and get some stuff done. Okay, that sound all right?
So this time Saturday.
Yeah, this sounds good for me.
Sounds
Okay,
good to me.
okay, good.
10 o'clock on Saturday. That sounds like a good thing to do, to try to get all the software talking to each other as best you can and so forth. Good.
Right. And we can move the scope and everything inside the room, inside the observatory, so we can simulate everything except seeing.
Okay. And we should get Kevin Iverson's camera. He took my camera simulator that I wrote many years ago, and he's kind of perfected it. So we could actually simulate images
Cool.
and it won't simulate speckle, but I could write one of those too. I already simulate speckle. So
Oh, wow. That's interesting.
have
So
you
you-
seen my speckle simulator? Maybe someday I'll show you how it works. It's kind of fun.
That sounds fun. Yeah. Yeah. So you're not offering that for Saturday. We're just, that may be later this month, maybe.
Well, we'll see. Let's try to get Nina installed
Yeah.
and, all of the things that plate solve stuff installed and whatever,
Right.
if it all talks to you. Have you used SharpCap, Pat?
I have used it barely, and I don't really, its interface is not intuitive to me. And then other people say, oh, it's great. And I just haven't gotten over that hump. Yeah,
Yeah, I've never
installed.
tried it myself. I've
Yeah.
watched other people use it. I've used the other one a lot, fire capture.
Yeah, I've used fire capture, but not, yeah. But yeah, I'd say Scott's use Sharp Cap now, right? And
Well, I've got it installed and I've played with it, but I wouldn't say I've taken any useful or any reasonable images with it.
Yeah.
It's installed and I can take pictures, but I don't think I understand it yet.
I may be able to get, well, Leon clearly knows it, but to get somebody in our time zone, I could probably get Gary to train us on it. I had him walk me through it one time and he knows it like the back of his hand, but
That'd be good.
yeah, I think, and he'd probably be happy to do it. So we not completely.
Another possibility would be Calla, the student at UCLA.
Okay. Okay. I don't know him or her, that, but we'll see if we can get Gary. I've got a couple of things to chat with him about. So maybe after Saturday, Scott, you and I can have a Gary session, see if he's got time.
Yeah.
For running Sharp Cap. Okay.
I'm sure we can get it running on Barrel, this weekend.
Yeah.
But really not, that's running it and making it and understanding it are two different things.
Understood. Okay.
Dave, on the automation thing, I can quickly share my screen. Pat, you need to enable permission.
Sure. Yeah, sure.
For an earlier meeting we had on automation, I put together a very quick chart here. Screen one, there. Everything which is green is already done or works, and orange is what needs to be done. So Russ, to start off, Russ said he would find a target list and create a target list, so that works well. Telescope startup is very easy because Ops Tech opens the roof and we just need to click play or similar. Then the handover from the target list to Nina, so getting that into the Nina target, that isn't done yet. I don't know what that would need. That could be something which needs a plugin. Alternatively, there is already some interface we can use because there is planetarium support. So the SkyX and Stellarium and similar apps all already work with importing targets into Nina. So it's just maybe possible to piggyback on that. Then selecting the optimal target from the list, that still has to be done. That should be automatic. So how often has this target been observed? Do we want to observe it multiple times? How high in the sky is it? What's the moon percentage and how bright is the target? That's all factors plugging into there. So there needs to be a single target, which then Nina decides on. I also don't know if this needs to be a separate script running and then feeding it into Nina, or if that's plugin worthy. Then setting the target as the current one, that's just another small step in Nina, maybe also with a plugin. Pointing the telescope, that obviously also already works. The camera handover, I already put drivers ... here because that's going to be the worst thing, since these drivers are very finicky. And Dave, you already know, but QHY they're known for making the bare minimum in drivers. They've gotten a lot better.
They're famous for writing bad drivers already.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, like a favorite joke about that is 3 years ago, they were so bad, it was always on forums QHY because it was so frustrating. And the starting of the image acquisition software, I wrote that word there because I wasn't sure then if we use fire capture or sharp cap, and I guess it isn't really sure either right now. Whatever works nicer with handing the camera over. Selecting the image parameters, so that's exposure time and gain, and now we know also offset, since SharpCap has its own offset requirements. And then
Leon, I noticed in Nina, there's a little box that says it lets you do subframing. And in the manual, I couldn't find any documentation of that or whether it actually works or not. And number one, are you aware of subframing in Nina? And is there any possibility that we could do the whole thing in Nina without needing a auxiliary image or camera controls software?
I don't know. All I know is that I asked the creator of Nina, and he said, well, Stefan is his name, and he said they don't ever plan to add that since it's not meant for that. It could be
subframing?
because I haven't installed 2.0 yet, but I think what's more likely is with subframing they mean, as in astrophotography, a sub as a subframe of your 400 image galaxy picture, and not
Okay.
an actual part of the frame, rather a frame which is part of a massive sequence which you then stack to get astrophotography. And that's
Oh,
called
okay.
I'm
subs.
so sorry. I have to head out, but I'll see y'all very soon.
Okay.
Bye.
Yeah, well, it doesn't seem to be, whatever it is, it doesn't seem to be functional right now, or at least I couldn't find any documentation. That
You can
indicated how it
take a
works.
screenshot and send it to me by email. I'll look at that. But
Okay.
I've never seen that box.
Okay,
Right. And then the last step is to take a certain number of images and then hand over the camera again and go back here and choose the next target. So yeah, these boxes are what needs to be done, and these arrows. The arrows are deceptively small because this may be far easier than actually getting from one step to the next with these softwares, since they're not made for each other.
Yeah, so it sounds like there's considerable work in that direction for automation. You never know until you try to tackle it, how easy or difficult it is to get two software packages to talk to each other. It can be, if the hook isn't there, then it's not possible. Somebody has to go write the hook inside of the actual program. So who knows?
I would, Leon, the selecting optimal target from list automatic, I certainly wouldn't want to hold up the other parts of this going down that path. That strikes me as a refinement that could be developed when we get the rest of it, we get the camera control taken care of, because we could create a fairly smart target list and run from that without having to do that optimization. I don't know, maybe others feel differently, but I certainly would try to focus on the camera control.
Yeah, we have to get Nina to talk to SharpCap to hand over control of the camera to SharpCap, or the automation part isn't going to work.
Yeah.
We'll have to go to another route.
Yeah.
All of the rest of it is rather, stuff that we can do later. We really have to get to proceed down this path. We have to get SharpCap talking with Nina nicely.
And I would have started much more progress on this 2 weeks ago already, but currently my schedule is just too full to do that.
Yeah,
I also have a presentation on the 19th about using CMOS cameras at Exoclock. And that also needs preparation.
Yeah.
And it'll be starting like Christmas, after Christmas. I will spend more and more time with this.
Yeah. So, we're just going to have to be patient and wait for Leon to work on that interface and see if he can get it done. And once we have that, you've got really a speckle system done. It's not automated in the sense that you can give it a list and go to bed yet, but it's done in the sense you can turn Nina on and give it a target, and it'll produce Fitz cubes, and probably even the reduction, because that's really simple. Once we get the JPEG, the Fitz files in a folder, running through that and doing the processing, it's simple. Okay, so that's the obvious weak spot right now, that we don't know if we're going to be able to do this. You just don't know whether you have all of the hooks you need to get the, camera functioning. So it's done. So
Okay.
if not, we can find some other method of getting it done. And we just have to proceed. I like this a lot because all of the software is being supported by, large groups of people. Nina is supported now by a community, and it's being used everywhere. So that's great. And SharpCap, well, is being supported by I don't know who wrote SharpCap, but it's being supported. So
Is Dan making any progress on dealing with QHY cameras?
Yes, he reported that I think he essentially has that working.
yeah, so we could take that software that Dan has, and as long as it works well enough for our needs and it doesn't crash and so forth, then we can take it and not expect, as long as we don't expect updates, often. They may come occasionally, but we could use that too. And I think Dan has an interface. I think it's controllable through ASCOM. I'm not sure about that, but
He was supposedly, well, there were some ASCOM aspects that he hadn't done yet, but he was going to be working on, I think, as a priority. And I think maybe, I don't know, Russ, I think you talked to him about that as well.
Yeah, I think he did those and is close on the QHY 600 camera. So I think Dan's making progress.
yeah. So if SharpCap can't be called with a camera handover and all that, then we might have to, we probably, that'll be our plan B. Because I don't think there's any other plan that kind of works. Hopefully, I mean, it's always nice to have a plan B.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Even in the event that there is no plan B, it's still nice to think you have a plan B.
I'm pretty clueless about the software interfaces and such, but the only thing I've used PlateSolve 378 for is to do calibration for speckle. The 22-inch, there's absolutely no connection between any camera and any telescope. They're totally separate systems, and so the FITS headers don't have any valid information about where the telescope is pointed. So that's a manual after the fact input.
Yeah.
And that's just the facts of life there. But if Nina already has PS2 and it's reasonably good pointing, then we really don't need a refinement with an updated PlateSolve, do we?
Well, Pat needs to be able to PlateSolve small fields because he has a small camera.
Yeah.
What we've been doing, just so you know,
Right.
we've been
The
tight
plane wave pointing is already good enough to negate that, I would think.
The point
Yeah.
is that good, but I'm not sure that given that well, we've been able to do things without having to PlateSolve. And but to confirm it, we PlateSolve on a small cluster someplace just to confirm the orientations. And then we can move from star to star. It doesn't necessarily end up in the center. And that it's going to be, it'll be in the same point on in the field of view, but it won't necessarily be in the center. And that may be a problem.
For automation, that would be necessary, but for initial start up and try it out, it seems like we could just put the ROI on the target and even if it's not near the center.
No, that's, I think, exactly what we want to do.
Yeah.
Manually. Yeah, to be sure we can.
But you can already do that, Pat. I mean,
Yeah.
If I know how to run SharpCap, I think so.
but SharpCap should, I mean, without any, all you're doing is using a different camera control software to do this.
Shouldn't be a problem. Yeah.
Right. So as Leon just pointed out, you know, if you get Nina running on your machine, then you can use ASTAP as your plate solver and try it with your small field of view and see if it works.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So
And I'll
it's-
try that in
it's
my
really
backyard too.
important that we try to go to a standard set of software that's supported by, you know, the world as best we can. SharpCap's been around for a long time and it seems to be well used and supported. Nina obviously has that advantage. And
There's one other complication here, which we haven't talked about, but my recollection is that the sharp cap control of ZWO is not what it's cracked up to be. But Scott, you've been doing it, you're saying it's working? And sharp cap is sort of
Yeah,
default for
I-
QHY cameras, but ZWO it's not.
I've got it connected, but I can't say how well it works or what features are supported.
Okay.
Ella and Ryan didn't have any problem with the CWO camera on Firo.
Great. Okay, good. That's good. Okay. Then we don't have to fight that one too. Okay.
Do we, there's another discussion is the photo centers. Do we want to have that at another time, or Dave, what's the photo center situation?
well, I haven't done any work on it. I did some work to try to find find a compatible set of images and stars. And I simply have run out of gas with that, so at the moment, I'm not planning on working on it for a while until I get to Columbia, I think, because I have, a load of projects here that I need to finish, and I'm going to Columbia mid-January. So,
Okay, so we should just kind of be on hold till January sometime.
yeah, the astronomy research experience is really, I think, the thing to focus on right now. It's really a beautiful program. I think a lot of really good students will learn a lot from it. So it's really valuable. And speckle is a well-known, technique. It's accepted. Papers can be published. It's more or less immediate. You can collect the data in one evening and you can do 50 or 100 stars if we get it automated anyway. So there's lots of advantages for research. Precision astrometry, I think, can be very useful, but it's a very long-term, project. And that's a difficulty, especially for students. So I'd prefer that we spend our effort, the limited effort we have, I would prefer we spend that effort right now getting a speckle system functioning that's useful for the research experience.
Yeah, so would it make sense to, to have, instead of a Thursday meeting and a Friday meeting at, 10 in the morning, just to have one meeting and, like Pat hosted, or what would you suggest, Dave?
Well, whatever you guys want to do, this time works for me, but I think we should make sure that we work on speckle as the number one priority. The time doesn't matter. Whatever works for you guys will work for me.
I would, rather than having 2 meetings a week, I'd rather have just one with you, Russ, and maybe we just, that it works with Leon and it sounds like it works well for others, and we do it on Friday morning at 10. Does that make sense, or is that?
Yeah, that'd be good. Would you be willing to host it, Pat?
Oh yeah, that's fine. that's in some respects better for me. So,
Once we get working on the software, I think some forum-y area or chat area will also be needed apart from the meetings, emails. Something like Slack here or Discord.
I've got a Slack, I'll set up a Slack channel for it.
Yeah, that would be best.
Yeah, I think Slack for this type of thing makes a hell of a lot of sense. Yeah,
Yeah.
okay, I'll do a Slack. That's no problem. And I'll send out invites to everybody. Yeah, okay. Have we done it for today?
Yeah, I think so.
It's been pretty productive. Yeah, been pretty good.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I think we're figuring out where we're going. That's really important.
it's not in a circle. I hope.
Could be.
All right. I will send this out, and I haven't gotten to making it into a YouTube channel yet, but I've found that I can make this into a channel if we want to expose ourselves to the world.
Yeah.
But anyway, I'll be working on that over the holidays too, I think. Okay.
All right. Nice seeing you all. Take care.
Okay.
Okay, bye, everybody.
See you next week.